Hello and welcome. Today we are doing a gentle class. So maybe you have some pillows nearby or some blocks, maybe even a blanket. Get the things that make you feel comfy. And we'll go ahead and get started. We are going to start in a child's pose today. So coming onto the knees, the arms are coming forward, the hips are reaching back. We just allow ourselves to sink on back. In this child's pose, you might even have a pillow right underneath the legs for some cushion. The hammies might be a little tight right now. So again, maybe placing that pillow there. Heart is melting, hands are going forward. Just allow that heart to melt. And I want you to begin to focus in on the breath, on the inhales and the exhales. Allowing that breath to move in through the nose, down the throat, the chest, into the belly. And as it reverses from the belly, chest, throat, and out through the nose. Keeping this breath going, knowing that you can always come back to it at any point in time throughout the practice. And if it feels right for your body, go ahead and allow the hands to come to prayer, bending those elbows, thumbs reaching for the nape of the neck, or maybe the palms are just resting on the tops of the shoulders. Stay connected with this breath. And we'll set our intention for today's class. There's a quote that I feel has been very appropriate. It's by Pema Chodron. You are the sky. Everything else, it's just the weather. So during this hour together, we remember that we're the sky and that our emotions, our feelings, whether they're of fear, sadness, heartache, happiness, joy, or love, they're just like the weather, always changing, but yet we embrace the beauty of all these emotions. We see these emotions, we feel them, we're here with them. Allow yourself to breathe, to feel, and to begin to heal. Releasing your intention, whatever way feels most natural to you. We'll walk the hands on over towards the right, framing that right knee. See if you can guide that left arm down towards the earth. Feeling the change on the left side body as you welcome in this stretch. We come back to center and walk the hands on over towards the left, framing that left knee. Guide that right arm down towards the earth. Come back to center. Rolling on forward into our tabletop with our next breath. The hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. The spine is nice and long. Start connecting with the breath even more as you feel the inhales and the exhales. We'll open up that heart, tailbone reaching up towards the sky in our in our cow. Maybe you take a peek side to side. And then push the ground away, curve the spine. Moving gently through your cat-cow flow here. Just being slow and patient. Just like the clouds rolling in. Eventually evening yourself out, meeting back in that neutral tabletop. The left hand is going to stay grounded down. That right arm is reaching up high. As you exhale, thread that right arm underneath the left. Right side of the head is coming down onto the mat. Left hand is reaching forward. If it feels right, you might shift your weight to that right knee and extend that left leg long. Allow the neck to soften and the breath to become easy. If the left leg was extended out, we're going to bring it back in. Left hand will come back next to the face. Pushing into that left hand, unthread that right arm, reach up high. Exhaling that right hand on down. 2 more cat-cow, shining that heart open, tailbone reaching high. And then pushing that ground away, curving the spine. 1 more set. Back into our neutral tabletop we go. Right hand stays planted down. Left arm is reaching up high. As you exhale, that left hand is coming underneath that right arm. Threading on through. Left side of the head is coming down. Right hand is reaching forward. If it feels right, shift the weight to the left knee and extend that right leg back. Again, allowing the neck to be nice and easy and the breath to be soft. Embracing these spaces that are being created. Maybe noticing these small changes in the body and in the breath. If that right leg is extended long, go ahead and bring it back in. Right hand is coming back close to the face. Unthread that arm, reach that left hand up high. Exhale that left hand on down, back into our tabletop. Just a few more cat-cows. Let's do 2 sets again. Feel free to welcome in any movement side to side, forward and back, whatever feels right. Settling back into that neutral tabletop when you're ready. We'll tuck the toes under and lift the hips up high, downward facing dog. Begin to pedal up the feet, finding some movement and stretching the back side of the body. Noticing as we're patient and kind, the body begins to soften. It begins to relax. Easing into your downward facing dog, find that stillness. A slight bend in the elbows. Hips are reaching up towards the sky, pulling the heels down towards the earth. They don't ever have to touch. Left foot stays grounded. Right leg is reaching up high. Let's bend that knee, stack the hips. Try to keep the shoulders straight on and reach that right knee up towards the sky. We come back into our three-legged dog, so the hips are facing down, right leg is reaching up high. As you exhale, take that smooth step forward, low runner's lunge. Framing that foot, it's okay if you guide that foot with you, with the hands. Allow that heart to shine forward. Left leg slightly coming down. Bring the hips slightly back. Left knee drops on down. Untuck the toes. Let's inhale the arms on up. Exhale the hands on down. Hips are going on back. Right toes up towards the sky. Drag that right heel. If everything's feeling kind of tight, if you have blocks or books or pillows, feel free to have them on either side of you, just to find a little less tension, a little less extra effort. We'll gently come back towards that right foot. Left hand is planting down inside of that right foot. Right arm is reaching up high. Embracing this twist. Breathing into that right outer hip. So maybe some of these poses are a little difficult, a little challenging today. And that's okay. We'll embrace these challenges, these difficulties, and remind ourselves it's like the weather, always changing. And we might begin to notice those changes within the body, remembering that we're the sky. Exhale that right hand on down, framing that right foot. Step that right foot back. So back into that tabletop. Hips are going back. Child's pose. If it feels more comfortable for the hips, to open up the knees wide, allow the knees to open up wide and melt yourself back. You can always have a pillow underneath the head if that feels better. Or like mentioned in the beginning, underneath the legs if everything's still feeling a little tight. Let's roll back into our tabletop. Tuck the toes under and lift the hips up high, downward facing dog. If pedaling of the feet feels right for the body, please go ahead and pedal. We meet in stillness with that next breath. Her right foot stays grounded down. Left leg is reaching up high. Bend that knee, stack the hips. Again, see if you can keep those shoulders straight forward and reach that left knee up high. Back into our three-legged dog. Extend that left leg long, hips are facing down. Bring that left heel up a little higher. Take a breath in. As you exhale, step that foot in between the hands, low runner's lunge. Again, if you need to help that foot come through, please do. Coming up onto the fingertips, we shine that heart forward, right leg slightly dropping. And we bring the hips back, right knees dropping on down, untuck the toes. Reaching those hands up high. With our next breath, we allow the hands to come down to frame that foot. Hips are going on back. Left toes up towards the sky. Drag that left heel. Option of blocks, pillows, books, whatever you have. Again, taking this time to breathe, to remember that everything changes. You just have to have the courage to keep showing up. Let's come back forward into that left foot. Right hand stays planted down. Left arm is reaching up high. Breathe into that left outer hip. Maybe you're noticing the differences within each side. And you begin to embrace these differences, these tiny little moments of feelings. Exhale the hand on down, framing that foot. This time we're tucking the right toes under and lifting that back leg back into that low runner's lunge. Keeping the strength in that left leg, that right foot becomes nice and light. Let's step it forward, top of the mat, forward fold. You can have a really big bend in the knees. Maybe the stance is a little wide than usual. Just allow yourself to relax on over the legs. The head is heavy. Maybe shaking at yes and no. You can even grab a hold of opposite elbows and find a small sway side to side. Finding that release in the low back. Good. Gently release the arms if you were holding on. We inhale, come up halfway, create that number 7. Exhale, fold over. Inhale all the way up to standing, reach up high. Exhale those hands down to the heart. Inhale the arms up. We find a side bend to the right. You can grab a hold of that left wrist with the right hand as you find the side bend. Maybe you interlace the fingers, have the pointing finger facing up towards the sky. You're going to see what feels right for you. Right, every day is a little different. So it's going to look a little different. Inhale, come up to center. Exhale, side bend to the left. Allow yourself to feel these little spaces that are opening up, that are stretching, that are finding space. We come back up to center. Exhale, swan dive on over the legs. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, plant the hands. We step it on back, high plank. Pushing the heels towards the back of the room, engaging the belly. Also pushing the hands into the mat to engage the shoulders. If this is a little too much, allow the knees to come down. You're still doing the same amount of work. But we're just going to feel a little bit of difficulty, a little bit of thunder for 3, for 2, and 1. If the knees are up, allow them to come down. If they're already down, take an extra breath. We're going to shift forward slightly just so you can find that alignment of the shoulder over the wrist. Maybe you're already there. We come down halfway, so squeezing those arms into the side body, come down halfway. And then scoop that heart open just like ice cream. The shins and the legs can be down, or you can push the feet into the mat and gently lift the legs up off the mat. If it feels right for your body to take a peek over that right shoulder and then the left, please do so. If the shins are up, go ahead and bring them down. We're bringing the hips back into our child's pose, allowing ourselves to rest, to come back to the breath, to remember that we're the sky. So we notice those tiny, small changes throughout the body and how it's constantly one way or the other, maybe each day, each moment, just like our feelings. We allow ourselves to feel these feelings, to acknowledge them, so then we can begin to heal. 2 more breaths here. Good. Let's roll back forward into our tabletop. Again, those hands and shoulders aligned, knees and hips aligned, spine is long. We tuck the toes under and lift the hips up high, downward facing dog. The left foot stays grounded down. The right foot is reaching up high. As we exhale, we take that smooth step forward, low runner's lunge, just like the beginning. This time we're keeping that left leg up, so push that left heel towards the back of the room. You can be up on those fingertips or maybe pillows, blocks, whatever feels right if the fingertips aren't working today. And we're going to intensify a little bit what we were feeling earlier. So left hand is staying planted down, right arm is reaching up high. Notice this little change of lifting the leg. How do you feel? What is going through your mind? Our next breath, we'll bring that right hand down inside of that right foot. Go ahead and seal that left foot on down at an angle. Right hand is pushing down, left arm is peeling open. Breathe. Hello, hip. Again, you can have something underneath that right hand if this is a little too intense. And we'll patiently push with that right hand to lift ourselves up into our warrior 2. You can adjust the feet slightly if needed. Keeping a bend in that right knee, an easy gaze over those right fingers. We feel our inner strength. We remember we're the sky. Flip that right palm to the sky now and exalt it. Left hand is coming down onto that left leg. Right arm is reaching high. Now straighten that right leg, a little bit of a micro bend still in there, so keep it soft. And then allow the arms to lengthen side to side. Right hand is reaching forward as that left hip pushes back. Right hand comes down, left arm reaching high. Go ahead and lift that heart up just a hair for me. Feel the length of the spine, the stretch in the left side body. If your shoulder is feeling a little too tight or this is a little too much for that left shoulder, allow the left hand to come onto that left hip. I just want you to point that left shoulder up towards the sky. We exhale that left hand down inside of that right foot. Right hand comes down, find a bend in that right knee. Start walking those hands towards the left side of the mat. Right toes are facing the long side of the mat as well. So we're in this wide-legged fold. Allow yourself to be soft. It's okay if you're up high or you're using your blocks. That's totally fine. Take a breath in, and with that breath out, see if you can melt a little deeper. We'll curiously begin to walk the hands on over towards the left side, landing anywhere on that left leg but the knee. Just a little baby twist here. Release that twist. Start walking those hands on over towards that right leg. Again, it can land anywhere along that right side. Doesn't even have to make it to the leg. Just don't put any pressure on that knee. Good. Now release. Come back to center. And we'll walk those hands towards that right foot. Right toes are starting to face the front. Left toes are starting to face the front. Low runner's lunge once more. Step that right foot back to meet the left. We're back in our high plank. Now this time we're going to transition a little differently. So allow the knees to come down. The chest and the chin come down. That bum is reaching up high. Squeeze those arms into the side body. You're going to look a little weird, like an inchworm, but it's okay. Now scoop that heart forward, just like what we did earlier, keeping those arms together. Pull the shoulders away from the ears as the neck lengthens, and our baby cobra. Now pushing the hands into the mat. This is very strong. Pushing the hands into the mat, we're going to tuck the toes under and begin to lift that torso up so we can lift all the way up into our downward facing dog. Doesn't have to be pretty. Just like the weather, some days it is not pretty for the weather or for us walking in it. Take a breath in and a breath out. All right, that right foot is going to stay grounded down. Left leg is reaching up high now. Bend that knee, stack the hips. And we come back because we didn't do that on the first time. So reach that left foot a little higher. And then as you exhale, take that step forward, low runner's lunge. Shine that heart forward. And gently come back. Right hand stays planted down, left arm is reaching high. Maybe you notice the tightness of this side. Can you breathe through it? Exhaling that left hand down inside of that left foot. Right foot is sealing down at an angle. Reach that right hand up high. Breathing into those tight spaces and embracing the discomfort, knowing it's only for a little bit. Pushing that left hand into the mat as we gently lift up, warrior two. Remembering that strength, that beauty of being the sky. Embrace that inner warrior. Flip that left palm to the sky now. And exalt. Right hand is coming down, left arm is painting the sky. Keep that bend in that left knee for me. Now begin to straighten that left leg. A little bit of a micro bend stays in there. And reach the arms long. Reaching those left fingers for the front as the right hip pushes back. Exhale that left hand on down as that right arm is reaching high. Again, if this is too much for that right shoulder, allow that right hand to come onto that right hip. And again, focusing on that right shoulder, pointing up towards the sky. Just a few more breaths here. Good. That right hand comes down inside of that left foot. Left hand plants down if it was up. Start walking those hands towards the right side, long side of the mat. Wide-legged fold. Again, seeing if you can maybe melt that heart a little deeper. Allowing that torso to relax. You can even have a bend in the knees. That's okay. You don't even have to touch the floor. You can have those pillows or blocks. Just allow the back to relax. Now, we'll walk the hands towards that right foot. Bending that right knee, left toes are coming up towards the sky into our Skandasana. This is a lot like how we started class, except we were facing the same way the toes were, but we're opening up the hips a bit. You can keep the hands down, or maybe you play with bringing one hand up to the heart. Possibly the other one comes up too. Good. If the hands are up, go ahead and bring them down. Start walking yourself towards those left toes. The left toes are facing, again, the long side of the mat. Plant them on down. Shift that weight. Bend that left knee. Right toes up towards the sky. Skandasana on this opposite side now. Same thing with being a little playful. I feel like the sky is a little playful sometimes with the peaking of the clouds with the sun. So maybe you embrace that energy, that playfulness that the sky sometimes does. All right, the hands are coming back down. Right foot comes down, seal it down, straighten both of the legs. Again, you can have a bend though. But we're back in that forward fold. Relaxing on over. And we walk the hands on over towards that left foot, so we're back to facing the front of the room. In that low runner's lunge, all 10 toes facing the front, up on those pinkies. On those fingertips. And this time, we're finding the strength in that left leg as the right foot becomes light. Step it forward, top of the mat. Forward fold. With the legs closed here, you can have some space though, of course. Notice how this forward fold feels versus the beginning of class. Do you find a little bit more space in the backs of the legs? Is there a little bit more ease in the breath and in the back? 2 more breaths here. Good. Come up halfway, create that number 7. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up to standing, reach up high. Exhale those hands down to the heart. Allow the hands to come down alongside the body as we find our mountain pose. The eyes might close or become soft. Allow the shoulders just to relax away from the ears. Feel as the heart becomes open. Maybe you're beginning to heal. You're beginning to feel. Now noticing the strength in the legs as they ground down into the feet, almost like roots, embracing the earth beneath you. We take this pause to breathe, to reflect, to feel. We remember that we're the sky and everything else is just the weather. Our next breath. If the eyes are closed, go ahead and gently open them. We inhale the arms up. Exhale the hands down to the heart. We find the strength in the left leg as the right foot starts becoming nice and light. Let's lift it up into our pillar pose. So grounding down with that left leg, the right knee lifts, engaging this hip flexor, engaging the belly to lift. The left hand is coming to the left hip. The right hand is resting gently inside of that right knee. Let's open it out to the side. Come back to center. To the side, you can always use the wall to help you. To center. One more time, open out to the side. And we find our tree, whether the tree with the right toes are down on the earth, or it comes up to the shin, or even that inner thigh. It doesn't matter. They're all the same. And every day looks a little different. Noticing as the hips are open, the hands make their way to the heart. Now allow the branches to rise on up to grow. Notice as you flourish as this tree. Being embraced by that sky and by the ground beneath you. And if we fall, it's okay. We come back. We try again. For 3, for 2, and 1. Release the feet. Allow the hands to relax down. Wiggle out those legs. Maybe really shake out that left leg. It just did a whole lot of work. All right, we're shifting on over to the other side now. So that right leg is nice and sturdy, nice and strong. Left foot starts becoming light. Allow that right leg to be your roots, nice and sturdy. Lifting up into the hip, we begin to lift up that left leg as well. Engage the belly to keep everything lifted. You can use that wall as well to help throughout this entire journey. Left hand is coming onto the inner part of the left knee. Let's open it out to the side. Come back to center. To the side. And center. Last time to the side. And we find our tree. Again, maybe this side the toes are down, or it's up on the calf or inner thigh. Embrace where you are on this side. Hands are coming to the heart. Allow yourself to bloom. We went through all that thunder, some of those moments of trouble, of hardness, of difficulty, to create this beautiful tree. For 3, For 2. And 1. We release. Shake out that right leg. Alrighty. A little hobble side to side. And then embrace that stillness. I want you to find that mountain pose once more, to notice where you're at now. So again, rolling those shoulders away from the ears to let that heart open. Create that space. Palms are facing towards the front. Grounding down with those legs. Feel as the toes spread as you take up space. How are we feeling? We see these feelings. We acknowledge these feelings. And we let them be. Our next breath, we gently open up the eyes. Reach those arms up towards the sky. Exhale the hands down to the heart. Let's heel toe the feet open. Toes are facing out, heels are facing in. Actually, before that, allow the toes to be facing, or the feet to be facing the same way, so they're parallel facing forward. And let's interlace our hands or fingers behind our back. Pull that fist on down to open up that heart. Maybe a little sway side to side to really open things up. You can bring that gaze up towards the sky if it feels right or comfortable. Take a bend in the knees and fold on over. So that fist is coming up off the back. If this is a little too much for the shoulders, please release the spine and just keep those hands on that low back. The further away the palms are, the less intense also. The closer the palms are together, the more intense this is on the shoulders. Just 2 more breaths here. Good. Gently bring the fist back towards the low back. Bend the elbows, release that grip. Hands are coming down towards the floor. You're going to keep the bend in the knees. Allow the toes to open out to the side now. Maybe the stance even becomes a little wider if it feels right. And we bring that bum down towards the earth into our yogi squat. Now sometimes yogi squat isn't comfortable for the knees, and we'll just bring like a pillow or a block underneath the bum to keep the bum a little elevated to protect the knees. Sometimes our heels don't even meet the floor, and that's okay. I want you to see if you can focus on opening up the hips though. So the arms are pushing into the legs are pushing into the arms. Keep that crown of the head reaching up towards the sky. For 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. Bring that bum down. If you had that pillow or block, obviously remove that before coming down. We'll allow the soles of the feet to meet each other. Legs are splayed out. Spine is long. If you have pillows or blocks, you can allow them to come underneath the knees for extra support if you want this to be a little bit more restorative. Allow the spine to lengthen. Maybe the eyes close or become soft. You might start to gently melt that heart forward, finding a fold here. Option of also having another pillow kind of resting right in this area, so you can rest there if that feels right. No gold points for allowing the head to reach the toes. I just want you to feel comfortable as you allow the hips to open and also get a release on that low back. I'll be here for 3 breaths. Good. We kindly begin to lift ourselves up. Hands are coming underneath the knees. Go ahead and lift them up towards the sky. Soles of the feet are planted down. Hands are coming behind you. Fingers are facing towards the front. Find a little bit more space in between the feet and just windshield wiper side to side. So allowing the knees to fall to one side and then eventually towards the opposite side. Gently and patiently. As you just allow yourself to feel. Go ahead and even out your sides. Meet back in neutral and center. All right. So adjust yourself so the spine's a little bit more reaching up towards the sky, a little more aligned. Crown of the head reaching up. You might even hug in the knees slightly, so it's almost like we're doing boat, because I for sure feel my belly engaged. Maybe you do too. And let's reach those hands forward. Tuck that chin in just ever so slightly and start making your way down onto your back. Just rolling on down, taking your time. And once the shoulders touch on the mat, you'll want to reach those hands, those arms back alongside, behind you, reaching for the back of the room. Now bring the knees into the chest for a nice big hug. A little sway side to side. We'll allow that left foot to come down onto the earth. The right ankle is crossing above that left knee. See if you can open out just like what we did in our tree. So opening everything out. My foot kind of hooks around my knee. I don't know why. Maybe yours does that too. Maybe it feels better doing that. Might try that out. And then allow the legs to fall to the left side. So that right sole of the foot is grounded down. Right knee is reaching up towards the sky. My left hand likes to kind of push on the inner part of that right thigh just to help ease that hip a little bit more towards staying open. The right shoulder's eased on the mat. And you allow yourself to breathe and relax. Three more breaths here. Good. We'll bring everything back up to center. Undo the legs. Nice and wide with the feet like earlier when we were seated up. Just windshield wiper side to side. All right, even out. back to neutral. Right sole of the foot now stays grounded down. Maybe you move it a little bit more towards the center. And that left ankle is crossing above that right knee to create that figure four. Again, maybe that toe kind of hooks around that knee, maybe not. Now let the legs fall to the right side. Right hand is gently easing that left hip to stay open. Left arm is just kind of hanging out, but ease that left shoulder down towards the mat. Seeing if we were able to allow that space to heal, that space to feel, and to remember that we're the sky. All right, our next breath, we come back to center. Release the crossing of the legs. This time, we're going to let the legs reach up towards the sky. You can have a big bend in the knees. Just depends on how loose the hamstrings are, and they don't have to be loose at all. If it feels better to do this alongside the wall, you can go ahead and do that. But flexing the feet, reaching up towards the sky, that belly is slightly engaged, allowing the arms to just kind of rest alongside you. The eyes might close or become soft. Just taking this time to pause, to feel, to reflect, to breathe. We'll gently bend the knees once more, hug them on in. Finding any final movements now that serve the body best. Whether to twist, allowing the knees to fall to one side and then eventually to the other. Or if you're ready to get a head start into Shavasana to have a little bit longer in that final resting pose, please feel free. But maybe you take the next 3 to 4 breaths exploring. Now beginning to slow down. To take that time to rest. To allow yourself to be the sky. Taking up space on your mat as the muscles relax, as the face softens. Feeling the heaviness of the head and the shoulders, the backs of the hands, the hips, the legs and the feet. Embracing these moments of stillness together. As we make time to rest. We'll be here for a few minutes in silence. If you have a blanket close by, maybe you allow that blanket to just gently rest on the eyes. There's a quote by Jay Shetty where he says, "We have strengths and weaknesses. We might fall or hesitate over our next move. Have a moment of overenthusiasm, but we keep flowing, allowing ourselves to be messy and beautiful. Always present in the moment." So maybe you remember to allow the messy and the beautiful to take place at the same time. To remember that everything changes just like the weather. But remember your strength, your beauty, your resilience, just like the sky. We begin to bring in gentle movement now into the fingers and the toes. These gentle movements becoming a little bigger, taking up more space, becoming more aware. Allow yourself to lengthen long with the next breath. And then bring the knees into the chest for one last big hug. Rolling to your favorite side. As you take a moment to pause, to breathe, to feel. We patiently make our way up to a comfortable seated position, keeping the eyes closed or soft. Together we'll take a breath in and a breath out. Let's bring the hands to the heart as we bow our head in gratitude. Grateful for this day, for this breath, for this beautiful life that we're given. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. The light, the love, and the spirit in me humbly bows to the light, the love, and spirit in you. Namaste. Thank you, Monisha, for coming. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, thank you. I hope you have a wonderful day. Till next time. Good, I'm glad.